Okay, so first these brushes. When I went to Spain, I went to this company called Skoda, and I got these brushes, and they're really good brushes. And the reason why is just this: when you it gets down to this point, it's this point that is really interesting because then when I put it down on paper, I can go from the point, like I'll just do it quickly here. I can go from something that's quite broad, like that, which is broad, to down to a single point where I follow the line. So that's why I like these brushes. They're very controllable, and unlike the brushes I've had before, which have been nothing but trouble. So I'll just finish this here. And then we'll go into washes. So how do I do the wash? Let's say I want to put in some yellow ochre wash. Now I need to have enough of that so I have it nice and reasonably watery, because I want it to be almost like just something that I can move on the paper. And because this is a 150 GSM paper, which is kind of thin, it's not very thick, it's not going to hold a lot of water. And then here's what I'm doing. I probably need more of this. You can see some of the colors mixing, but I'm just moving it across, and as long as I have this liquid, see this bead? So I can just move it across. Now I can use a thicker brush, but as long as I have the bead, and you're getting a really flat wash. And even though I have this obstruction in the way, as long as I have that bead going, I'm good. So look at that. There's the bead here, so I'm not too concerned. And there is no, oh, that was wet. Normally that won't happen, but it was wet, so it found that space there. We won't worry about it too much. But as long, I can leave this bead here as I'm going over this character, and then there's the bead there, and I don't have to worry about it. So I can just keep going. I can even add another shade if I want, like a little red in it. And keep going. And see how quickly you can just keep going. You don't really have to spend a lot of time if you don't want to. And the bead's drying up here, so I come back here, go around the nose, go down here. As long as the bead is there, I'm not worried because that bead is already there. So I can keep going here. I can go relatively fast and get a good wash because I'm not going back too much. Now that's forming a pool there, and I want that to dry. So I just mop it up just a bit. That's forming a pool there. I want that to dry. I mop that up. And the bead's still wet here. I can put in another color if I want. Just mix it a bit. It's getting muddy, it doesn't matter. And this is at regular speed. I'm not speeding up this video at all. I'm just pushing that paint down. This brush is really good as well. So, you know how they say a bad carpenter blames his tools? Well, these are good tools. So, and I'm getting a pretty even wash here, even though I'm going pretty fast. I don't really know. I've not drawn this. I drew this a long time ago, many years ago actually. Maybe 2010 or something. And some of that has spilled here, but look, that wash is reasonably even, and you're done. So now the question is about how do I go over this? And when I go over this to create some sort of maybe a glaze, I'm doing the same thing. So supposing I wanted to create a glaze for his hair, and it'll probably be a mess if I do that.
Do you have to wait for it to dry?
Yes. If you're going to be doing a glaze, if you don't wait for it to dry and you just start doing it, you're going to get this run-in. And sometimes it's fine to have the run-in, and because you know when it's a soft thing. So this, when you look at this edge versus this edge, they're both hard edges. So when you want to create a hard edge against a hard edge, this thing has to dry. When you want to create a soft edge, supposing this is the sky going into clouds, which is going to, you know, some kind of soft feel, then you can run it wet on wet while the paint is still wet. But if you've got to create something where there is a very clear edge, something that's hard, this versus that, then this has to dry before you start going there, otherwise it'll smudge, and then you get this kind of feel. Here it's not so bad, but in other situations it could be not so great. Now,
I think we'll do another one.